So this is how to get started with GarageBand for the very first time, assuming that you want to just open it up and record audio tracks using the built-in microphone. Here's what you do. First, you go into Settings, and you'll only have to do this once. You can either scroll down to find GarageBand, or at the top, if you slide up, of course, there is the search feature there. So we'll find GarageBand, and you want to turn automatic recording length on. This will enable you to just press record and it will continue to go. If you don't, you record in loops, like you just do parts of a song, like the chorus or the verse. Then you open up GarageBand, and you won't need to do that normally. That's just a one-time setting change. So when you open up GarageBand, all of your project files are going to be on this screen. You'll hit the arrow up at the top in order to create a new song. And you'll have a number of different options here, but you're going to want the audio recorder, which is the microphone. At this point, this is your VU meter, which you don't want to peak out, you don't want it to go up into the red normally. Although if it does a little bit, that's fine. It can occasionally dip up above the red. But just something to keep in mind, don't be too close to the mic. Before you start to record, one thing you might want to change is there is a metronome here, and you usually want to turn that off, unless playing with a click track is going to be important. Usually you want that off, because otherwise it'll sound. So then, what you'll do in order to record is easy. You'll just hit the record button right there. The metronome will start in on a 1, 2, 3, 4 count, just to give you an idea of the tempo. Then it'll go silent, and that's when recording begins. So you can see here, the recording won't actually start until the metronome has counted in. And we're recording. So this would be the guitar part that you'd be playing, or you could sing as well, whatever you want. So let's pretend that you finish your recording and you're done. At this point, you have two different things you can do. You can either start to add effects to it. There's presets here that aren't very good. They're more novelty ones. They'll make things sound goofy, so feel free to mess around with those. But the little gearbox here will give you your settings, like your track volume, if you want to pan it to the left or right. But most importantly, it's going to give you echo and reverb. So you can experiment with adding different levels of echo and reverb and see if there's something you like. You can experiment with the compressor, see how much compression you want, and see how that sounds like. But ultimately, that's when you'll just fine-tune and tweak it. Now, if you wanted to record your guitar as one track and then go over and sing on top of that, you would need headphones, and you need to plug them in. And then what you would do is you'd hit this track button here up at the top with the bars, and that'll bring you to a screen where you can edit the track that you're in, or you can add another track. If you wanted, you could add drums or something, but let's just pretend you're going to add another audio recorder. And now it'll bring you back to this screen, and it's ready to press record again. And we're recording. So this would be the guitar part that you... So that was playing back, obviously, the previous track with a bunch of reverb, and now you could maybe sing or do whatever you wanted onto it. Then there as well, of course, you can add whatever you want. There are other echoes and reverbs in the settings here. So if you want to experiment with something a little more spacey or something a little smaller and more intimate, you can do that. Once you're done and you get these tracks mixed at a certain level that you like, then you hit the little arrow here to go back to your song screen where they're all stored. At this point, you can select it by holding down on it or hitting the select button. You can share it, send it in an email. You can save it to your computer through iTunes, save it to Dropbox, whatever you want. Upload it to any number of different apps. Or you can also rename it just by clicking the name. Even put them into folders if you need. So hopefully that helps. That's how you can record a song very quickly and easily with GarageBand.